mic on? Okay. Good morning. I hope you're having a great time as PS23. We've had great sessions so far. So taking the proceedings ahead, I have a very interesting guest this morning, and I'm going to ask him a few hard questions to throw some light upon the print industry. My guest this morning is a very dynamic owner and director of Winzac Group, Mr. Ranesh Bajaj. Ranesh is the man behind Winzac and establishing it globally in the print packaging and brand protection space. He has an illustrious career of over 25 years in the business, and over these last 25 years, he has led a lot of successful turnkey projects, taking care of critical challenges of high volume print and packaging solutions for governments, retail, banking, development banks, so on and so forth. In the last 2 decades, Winzac has successfully addressed and helped businesses succeed financially by giving them customized solutions that are integrated and well supported. Over this vision, Winzac has been able to create solutions that have been high quality, innovative, with a perfect product service mix to help businesses survive in this competitive environment. So with this, please put your hands together to the warm welcome to Ranesh Bajaj. Hi Ranesh.
Hi.
Good morning.
Thank you, Uncle. Morning.
I hope you're having a great day at PS.
I am.
And we have some great conversations with you. Okay, so starting off, we've had a lot of challenging last 2 or 3 years, Ranesh, and you have a very global perspective to the industry. You meet industry leaders, game changers, and offer great solutions. Keeping in mind the Indian printer, okay, the biggest challenge for over the years, has been a slow infrastructure improvement, development, and the second challenge is access to capital, right? That's the biggest challenge for an Indian entrepreneur who wants to grow quickly, address a growing market, and probably beat China in the race with the whole story of China plus one. There are talks in this government that as we go ahead, the world will be talking about India plus one, where India will be the manufacturing hub to the world. So keeping these 2 challenges in mind, what are your views that, how does an Indian entrepreneur address these challenges?
Thank you, Uncle, and morning, everybody. Before I come to your question, this is the first time I'm speaking at Print Summit. It's been my favorite show for content, really, thanks. So let's all clap together for the event. It's also great attention to detail. I just noticed, the 3 flowers are the three flags of the 3 colors of our flag. So Iqbal bhai, good job. हिंदी में भी बोलना है. इकबाल भाई ने डांटा सिर्फ इंग्लिश में नहीं बोलना है. बोला गुजराती और मराठी में बोलो. वो मुझे आता नहीं है. तो I said, can I speak in Punjabi? He said, no bad words, Ranesh. So don't start your morning with a few bad words, right? So, coming back to your question, Anshul. Very good that we say we don't want to be China plus one. We want to turn the world to be India plus one. Yeah. The gentleman from the railways was very great in saying that in Sri Lanka, that, we are ahead of them. I go to Sri Lanka often, and, we have check printing equipment in Sri Lanka for the last 25 years. And we've seen the governments, the last government was so pro-China, but the current government, the Modi government has done a good job. बहुत अच्छा किया है कि हमें जाके now Sri Lanka is again a market where India has good or equal access. It's so we don't have to be China plus one. We are strong enough, smart enough to stand alone and be counted. Infrastructure in India is actually improving. I don't know कितने लोगों ने देखा है, but on the scale of ease of doing business in 2015 or 16, we were at about 170. And today we are at 70. So we've jumped 100 places in ease of doing business. So that's a key positive to say that, the government is doing a great job. GST has been a great enabler. It was a little trouble. All change is painful, right? The butterfly coming out of the larva is painful. We all of us as leaders of our organization will have to be We'll have to take the pain and still smile while we do the change, or else we'll be left out. Coming to the finance part of it, let me say, the finance, there are two things to look at finance. A lot of smart entrepreneurs don't look at capital as the only cost. You always, for any change or any capital investment, you look at the total cost of ownership. You say, ये machine मेरे को चाहे 10 crore में आए, but if instead of costing me 2 rupees to print a sheet, if I can print in 1 rupee, what is my saving? So over the life of the equipment, there are multiple factors. हमें सिर्फ देख के कि अरे ये 2 crore का है और ये 5 crore का है, नहीं उससे मतलब we should not feel threatened or feel this thing. We should not choose only. We should, all of us have smart Excel tools now on the internet. आप बैठ के 10 मिनट में अपने सारे costs डालेंगे, you will come out that capital maybe in most cases is a single digit number in your total cost of production. Having said that, it's important. Interest rates in India are falling. Okay, last 1 year is a change globally, but prior to that, we also saw rates of 12% dropping to 8%, which was at par with anybody in the world. The government, I don't know how many of us know, has a great number of schemes. आप MSCME के project लगाइए, आपको उसमें subsidy मिलेगा. I don't know whether the government of Gujarat, sir, has a 7% subsidy on interest. So effectively, they just pay 2-3% of rate of interest if you put a plant in Gujarat. So the government is really doing well for all of that. And finally, all us European suppliers, people who are selling European equipment, and I'm sure Koing & Bauer and everybody is doing as well, we have our own European lines of credit. So whether you use Hermes from Germany or whether you use Sache from Italy, you can use multiple lines. There is, of course, the risk of the exchange rate, which the dollar has been more or less stable or slightly depreciating. The euro has been a little more this thing, but there have been times when people have made a lot of money. You know, I have customers who bought equipment from me in 2019 or 20, had a 3-year payment period, and then the euro dropped almost 15-20%.
Right.
So they had a ball, you know, they paid 15% lower, so they actually had a negative rate of interest. So having said that, I think we are in a good position. हमें सबको जाके world में attack करना है कि we are, so okay, for now we can start with we are going to approach the multinationals and say we can be your second supplier, but slowly in the back of our mind, we have to grow to be the India plus one globally. That's my idea.
So you honestly feel this is the right time for Indian entrepreneurs to probably look at global markets and really expand, take the risk and just grab the opportunity that's at hand?
Absolutely, Ankul. I, for person, have always been that, you know, like the gentleman from the Philippines said, travel. Unless you travel, you don't know. So this is, you know, my personal story. I knew nobody in Sri Lanka when I started the company in 1996. I got onto a plane from Chennai because that was the cheapest. So took a train from Delhi to Chennai, took the flight from Chennai to Colombo, landed at the airport, got a hotel, picked up the yellow pages and started knocking doors, ting, ting, ting. So once you travel, today we have 100% of the check printing market in Sri Lanka for the last 25 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you two questions back to back, which are going to be one against the other.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of talk about product expansion, right? So let's say I'm making rigid boxes. Should I get into something else and increase my product line? Or should I do a geographical expansion, move closer to customers, explore different markets? And here, I will like you to talk about more of local because most of the audience out here is, you know, single units or maybe 1+1 unit. So what are your thoughts on, you know, if you have to talk about product expansion and geographical expansion?
So, Uncle, there are both schools of thought, like you said. I can give you live examples of companies who've done product expansion. Printman Group, I know Tejas and Ankit are not here, but typically they're a company we started doing commercial leaflets, went into cartons, labels, and now aluminum blister. So, उन्होंने अपने वही common 5, 10, 15 pharma customers रखे, just made sure that they offer the entire product range to those people. Big advantage, you have less accounts to manage.
Yeah.
You already have a relationship which you leverage. Yeah. You have one salesman traveling.
Right.
The customer has great ease, you know. He also, customer says, मैं एक ही आदमी से लेता हूँ. कार्टन आपसे लिया, लेबल उनसे लिया, फॉयल उनसे लिया. आपने ऑफसेट में छापा, उन्होंने फ्लेक्सो में छापा, उसने ग्रेव्योर में छापा. तीनों का हिमालय का ऑरेंज मैच नहीं हुआ और ग्रीन मैच नहीं हुआ.
True.
So that's a challenge. So there is a good case कि आप product expansion कर सकते हैं. But remember, there is a certain scale to which you can go. And post that, geographical is much easier. every product has a technical nuance to it. You know, it seems easy कि आज मैं carton छाप रहा हूँ कल label शुरू कर लेता हूँ. Sorry for my Hindi guys, I know you won't catch up, but आप समझिए that learning flexo is different than learning offset. Learning gravure is then different. So why not geographical? Geographical actually makes a lot of sense. अगर आप once you've learned a whole product, Parsons is a great example, or other large company DCPL, they just take and replicate the whole decision across 5 plants across the country. Very easy to replicate, technically easy to manage. You do one innovation at one place. You know, Unilever says why they can change so much of plastic? Because the scale is large. Your scale would become larger. Most of your customers, whether FMCG or pharma or whatever, they are multi-locational. And if you put, you know, ancillary plants close to them, you cut down on logistics, you cut down on turnaround time. Key also is to have BCP or a disaster recovery plan.
Right.
Having one factory is always putting you at risk.
True.
To multiple, you know, whether it's an earthquake or a fire or a strike or industrial or whatever, could be anything. So I personally feel that geographical is a greater or an easier thing to do. We just guys have to get out of our comfort zone.
So
travel is, sorry.
So basically, if I'm someone in the audience and if I have this dilemma in my head that do I do geographic or product, okay? Because I think geographic, after what you said, makes a lot of sense, a little easier also. So you think that should be the way to go? Because see, a product expansion, again, as you said, it's a different animal when you move one, you know, different technologies, your knowledge. But it's easier to, as you said, replicate your plan that's already working. So if I have to choose between the two, do you think you're bending over a little bit towards geographic?
My personal experience, yes, geographic.
Okay,
and
great.
When you say geographic, please, there's one, sorry for, you know,
yeah.
Don't limit yourself to the country.
Yeah.
There's one thing you guys should understand. जितने जुगाड़ू हम इंडियन लोग हैं, उतना दुनिया में कोई नहीं है.
Absolutely, bang on.
You can, you know, you show me a rock, I'll find a way around it. You show another country, I don't want to name countries, a rock, he will sit and say, oh shit, rock. Either I blow it or do or whatever, right? I'll find my way around it and be there ahead. So for us, जिसने इंडिया में 90s में 2000s में business किया है, fighting all these, you know, the government laws or whatever, for him, going and doing business, I moved to Dubai like 10 years ago in the company, but personally, it's a cakewalk. कुछ problem ही नहीं है. मतलब it's really, you can actually grow much faster. So, and it's not so far.
Yeah.
People who've gone to Africa from India, if you go, the entire, you know, why I've been overseas also is because most of my customers overseas are also actually Indian.
Right.
पूरा अफ्रीका में या तो गुजराती हैं या मणिपाल प्रेस का 2-4 यूनिट है. All my customers are those. In Dubai, 90% of my customers are Indian. Okay, of course, Middle East, a little more Lebanese and Syrians and all of that. But globally, you have Indians everywhere. So why should you not follow and set up a plant in, I don't know, Neerav Thakkar is not here, but there's a customer of mine who was struggling in Mumbai to do labels. And he met somebody by chance in a flight, went to Congo, set up a packaging company in Congo. And today, I think he's sitting on loads of cash.
So coming back, I think there's a lot of clarity that Ranesh has given to us when you talk about product expansion and geographic expansion. The next thing I want to talk about is incremental innovation, a blue ocean strategy, wherein I go and create, spot an opportunity. You know, there is a niche, there is a great opportunity, like you said, in Africa. There are so many you know, commercial printers in India who actually completely blue ocean strategy and great success. I mean, I've seen a friend go from 0 to 300 crores this year just printing education books in Africa. So it's a complete blue ocean strategy where there's tremendous opportunity. You just need to go and knock the doors and, you know. So what would you talk about? Do I get into incremental innovation in my current product line or look at blue ocean strategy? What do you think?
So, right, depends on your risk for appetite.
Right.
If you have, you know, there is always going to be a risk. When you go blue ocean, एक risk तो है. आप कुछ भी नया बनाओगे, 10 में से 3 लोग चलते हैं, 7 फंसते हैं.
Right.
What I think is if you find a balanced approach, personally, I think now if you are doing 10 crore रुपए का turnover, I am saying that I am going to allocate 1 or 2 crores a year on doing incremental for this thing. But I also know that I can spend another crore of rupees or 10 crores or 100 crores on starting a blue ocean separately.
Right.
On how much can I pay? Right. I should not be out on the street. My kids should not have to, you know, beg, borrow, or steal or whatever. Absolutely. Having said that, but Blue ocean is always great. It keeps you ahead of the time.
Right.
You have to innovate like the guy Mr. Lele was saying. You have to innovate ahead of your competition. आप ये सोचोगे कि मेरा चल रहा है, वो Kodak moment में ना एक basic चीज़ वो उन्होंने बताना भूल गए, that Kodak actually developed the digital camera. The digital patent still remains in the name of Kodak. Just they thought कि मेरा ये business चल रहा है, इतना अच्छा cash cow है, इसको मैं अभी milk करते रहूँ, let me not get into, making something new. We cannot afford to do that. We have to get the right balance. I know it's a tight walk. It looks so easy theoretically. Practically challenges there. You will fail for sure.
Right.
I don't know how many people in this room know, but for me, Blue Ocean, I started a cold store 10 years ago in UP. I lost left, right, and center, 10 crore of rupees, blah, blah, blah. I had to shut it down. So it's difficult. It's not so easy. But you still have to keep trying and keep that extra 20-30% over for Blue Ocean.
So just to make it easier for all the people in the room, there's two strategies that we generally have in business, red ocean and blue. Red is where most of us operate in, highly competitive markets, pressure on margins, deliverables, so on and so forth. Blue ocean, what he's talking about is completely going into a segment which is completely new to you or actually a new market. So what Apple did to Nokia was completely blue ocean, right? We were used to a certain Nokia phone, they went and created a completely different interactive screen and completely killed Nokia overnight. So that's pure blue ocean, right? So thanks, Ranesh, for this.
Ankul,
now,
sorry.
Yep.
On the blue ocean, staying on the same, the blue ocean doesn't have to be totally different. Like आपके printers से कहने के लिए, there is also a lot of software related to the printing business. Yes. Stop calling yourself a printer. Call yourself a print service provider or whatever, and do the software part of it, do the digitization part of it, do the connection for the customer, where you can buy maybe off-shelf products, and that still works and it's growing.
Absolutely. So you.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. And that's what I was saying. The slide stuck. I need to change it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
so anyway,
cool.
So
yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Okay. Now coming back to the last question, Ranesh.
Yeah.
We've all seen last 4 to 5 years have been very challenging for the commercial printers, right? So a large part out here could be commercial printers. Of course, we've seen that packaging has had tremendous growth and opportunity, and we have a lot of friends who've done fantastic. But there are a lot of friends also who've suffered the wrath of the pandemic, the digitization, going away of a lot of commercial print jobs, right? So, today's, the whole concept of today, or the theme, is own the change. So if you were to give some words of wisdom on how do we own the change as a commercial printer, because that's who I am. And I see a lot of challenge. I mean, it's been really difficult the last 2 years. And, someone earlier mentioned that you need to reinvent yourself, right? And that was, for me, it was a take home that we all have to continue to reinvent before we become irrelevant. So what would be your words of wisdom or experience as to how does a commercial printer in India today, with all the opportunities we talk about China, really own his change?
Ankul, two things. Commercial print is not dead, and you're not alone in the field. Let me tell you.
Well, big round of applause for that.
Problems are for everybody. If you go to the largest flexible packaging company, their biggest problem is multi-layer packaging का क्या करूँ, मुझे single layer बनाना है. They have invested billions of dollars in making multi-layer packaging, and the government says sustainability. आज कोई CEO, whether it's Mr. Lele or anybody, the first slide is always sustainability. Technology, blah, 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 everything comes 2 or 3. The highest paid guys are not the CEOs, they are the CSOs. अगर आप LinkedIn खोलो, yesterday I was seeing, there is a $40,000 one-week course at MIT, how to become a chief sustainability officer in a company. So, sustainability is there, number one. Change is coming for everybody, not only for commercial print. Change is coming for flexible packaging, कि we don't want multi-layer, हमें single-layer packaging चाहिए, monomer दो, recyclable materials दो. Change is coming in our security printing field. हम checks छापते थे, check volumes are gone. We used to print certificates, they have become Excel equipment with certificates.
Sure.
Digital. Telephone scratch cards एक business था, मैंने 2002 में machinery बेचना शुरू किया. 2010 में, India was the largest producer of telephone scratch cards in the world. People would not know, but there is Mr. Vinod Jain, he used to be the president of All India Master. In Calcutta, he had a factory. his capacity to make pins was 5 crore pins a day, right? In 2010, and last week, his machines are all sold. We had to repurpose the machines for other work, and the market is dead. He invested maybe close to 100 crore rupees in that plant. Today, it's gone. So market to change hoga. Commercial print ke liye hai, security ke liye hai, packaging ke liye hai. We have to, like you say, continuously innovate.
Yeah.
So don't feel lonely in that space. All of us are in that space. So we have to all look at what we can do. Yes, there are things that you need to do quickly. Packaging may easiest hai, like I said, you already have a sheet fed press, buy a die cutter and a folder gluer, off to making cartons. Too much competition, but still that's the easiest thing to do. There is also, of course, start making labels, flexibles and all of that. But trust me, spend that a month, 2 months, 6 months on trying to find a niche. और ये अच्छा time है niche ढूंढने के लिए, because the whole world is in a cycle. You know, like he said, established players also have to reinvent. Uflex today has to go and buy new equipment to make single layer packaging. So the competitive advantage of experience or of a previous is less. So there is now open space for all of us to get in and fix up. I give this example today. Maybe you don't need to buy an 8-color press, because what sells more is brown craft paper printed with green color. You put both of them on a store shelf, the premium would be paid to recycle brown craft printed with one color in green. So whether do you actually need to print 8-10 colors or no? No. So you could actually be smart, find a niche, find a product line. Also, let's stop thinking as printers of being service providers only to an FMCG. Look at a product. I make a product. You know, I have customers. I have an example of a customer in Hyderabad who's into in-mold labels. He started 20 years ago making in-mold labels, but he doesn't make just the labels. He makes the container as well.
Right.
So a complete thing. Make a product, sell it to the brand. Don't just become a converter, an intermediary between one to one, and surely you'll be happy. And you know,
fantastic. Ranesh, that was, a great 20 minutes. You gave us a lot of deep dive into your 25 years of experience.
Thank you so much.
I think all of us have picked up a lot of ideas that we can go back and think about. I think we just need a hard stop, strategize, and then move forward when we're thinking about making investments. Sure. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Ankul. Pleasure.
Thank you very much. That's lovely. Mehul Desai, please come up on stage to thank both Ankul as well as Ranesh for doing this 20-minute power session. Lovely. Hard talk, as I call it. Ranesh Bajaj, thank you very much. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And Ankul Nanavaty, our team member, thank you for doing the question answer session. Thank you, Ranesh. Ankul.